The Dean Smith Award recognizes an individual in the sport who embodies the spirit and values of the late Coach Smith. Please welcome Basketball Hall of Famer, Dick Vitale.
Thank you. Thank you. I first of all want to say that the hospitality and the treatment I've received since arriving here yesterday has been unbelievable. Starting with Jennifer and her husband, Aaron, they have been unbelievable. They recommended to me right away last night, "You like Italian food?" I said, "I love Italian food. I'm a paisan." They said, "You got to go to the Hill, man. You got to go to Lorenzo's." So I go to Lorenzo's. Great meal. Owner came up to me and we started talking. And he said, "Hey, did you ever watch Yogi Berra play?" I said, "Are you kidding me?" As a kid growing up in the New York area, Yogi was special. I mean, really special. And I love Joe Garagiola. My God, I used to love him. You know, paisans, we got to all stick together. So the bottom line is, he said, "Well, you know, he lived right around here." There I am, like a little 12-year-old kid, and I'm running around. I find a plaque. This is the home on Elizabeth Street of the great Yogi Berra. And I'm taking pictures of it, and I put it up on social media, and all my family members, people back in New York, sending me stuff. Oh, my God, you're still acting like a kid. And to me, when I hear that, it's the greatest compliment I ever get. My daughters, Terry and Sherry, growing up, I would never, ever sit in a press box. I would sit in the stands. I was a big Notre Dame fan. LaFonso, by the way, is one of the classiest guys I've ever worked with, and great family man, just a terrific guy. Give him a big hand, LaFonso Alves. In fact, you should give a hand to all the honorees that were talked about here today. What a great job that Tom Ackerman did, and along Michelle. They did a terrific job. Give them both the heck of a hand. I feel like I want to run around for autographs. Are you kidding me? I see Ann Myers in the house. Unbelievable. Ann Myers Drysdale, being a baseball fan, obviously she was married to one of the greatest right-handers ever in the game, Don Drysdale, hooked up with Sandy Koufax, man. And they made a lot of batters say to the skipper, "You know, I don't feel too good today, man. I don't feel as good. I'll play tomorrow." But yeah, she's just a special, she's royalty in the world of basketball. What she's done for women's basketball is so special. Give a big hand again for Ann. Chris Carrawell. Chris Carrawell is going to be a head coach. As I told him today, and I spoke about him on TV in a game I did with Duke, it's just a matter of time. But when you're at a school like Duke, don't rush. You don't want to get a job that's a dead-end job where it's impossible to win. Be patient. The right one will come along, and with his ability to recruit and his ability to coach, he'll be a success. A big hand for Chris. You saw that video, and I'm going to share a couple of things here tonight. I'll share a story. When I looked at that video, I didn't know that video was coming. I thought it was a whole different video about me in basketball and coaching and maybe a little thing about cancer, but I didn't know the whole thing. And that was John Hamm talking about me there. And that was when I received the award that was so special to me, as well as this award. I received the Perseverance Award given by ESPN in memory of my buddy Jimmy V for persevering in my life and fighting on. That's the only way I know it. That's my recommendation to every cancer patient. Think positive. Have faith. Believe. Don't quit. Don't ever give up, as Jimmy V would say. You got to battle and battle and battle. I battled many a night. My darkest moment, reminded me of that, looking at that video, was one day I'm doing chemo. I'm in a hospital, I'm having a tough day. I mean a tough day. It was really brutal. I mean, I'm dedicated to raising dollars for kids battling cancer. I got my gala coming up on May 2nd. We hope to go over, my dream is to go over $100 million since starting, and I will do it. You're gonna read a headline, I will do it. That's not even never in my wildest dreams when I started to raise money back 20 years ago did I ever think of numbers like 100 million. But so many people have rallied to my behalf to help me because there's nothing worse. Look, I lived a great life. If it ended tonight, I don't want it to. I have a goal. I want to see every one of my grandkids graduate college. As I told the group this afternoon, that'll take me to I'm 90. So 4 more years. If the Lord wants to take me, so be it. But please give me 4 more years, Lord. But the bottom line, I never dreamt about 100 million. And we will do that. We have 92.8 million we've raised already in a bank for research for kids. No kid, you watch that video, the scans, the blood work, and all the stuff involved. No child should ever go through that. And no mom and dad should be watching. And do you know this? This blew me away when I heard it. Only 4 cents out of every dollar raised for cancer goes for pediatrics. That's criminal. And yet the government's cutting the funding for pediatrics. Well, they're not cutting me because I'm going to beg, I'm going to plead, and I'm going to plead for money for those kids. But my darkest moment happened. My wife, my daughter's my wife. What can I say about her except truly the Hall of Famer in my family? I'm in 14 Hall of Fames, and let me tell you this. She is a genuine Hall of Famer. We've been married 53 years. She only looks 40 years old right now, but the bottom line is my wife, what she's gone through for the last 3 years, and only cancer patients know this. It's not only doing the chemo, it's not only doing 65 radiation treatments, 6 months of chemo, it's the scans and the blood work. So many times I think I'm home free and my wife will say, hey, do you know you gotta go today for a scan? Do you know today you got blood work? You know, it doesn't end. Only cancer patients know that. Right now I'm cancer-free, they say, right? Until my next scan. My next scan is right after my gala. I made sure that. He said to me, let's do a scan the end of April. I said, no. My gala's May 2nd. We're doing a scan after my gala because, as I told the people today, and Jody, who did a great job to open up this event, Jody Peterson, the president of the club, she knows because she's a cancer survivor. And she told me that today, what she went through and how true it is. The day you do a scan and waiting for that phone to ring, and that phone to ring from the doctor, because one in life, I tell you, I was just nervous when the game was on the line and coaching my heart out, but nothing is nervous as waiting for that doctor's call because it's life-changing. He says to you, man, it came out great, you're cancer-free. Wow, I'm okay for the next 4 or 5 months now. I don't have to do another scan. If he says, unfortunately, bad news, cancer's come back. Well, that's again battling, chemo, radiation, and it's no fun. I told you my darkest moment. I'm in the hospital, and I have that tough day, as I mentioned earlier, battling that chemo. And all of a sudden, my family had to leave. My grandkids were there all home from college. I got 3 right now at Duke who play varsity tennis on a highly rated team, twins, and I have a granddaughter there who's a freshman, the twins are seniors. I have one that played tennis at Notre Dame. She just graduated last year, played tennis, and her brother's a 2-time champion in lacrosse. He's a junior at Notre Dame. So pretty good for a guy that, if Duke asked me, if I had applied to Duke and they said, look, we're gonna accept you. Chris can get a kick out. We're gonna accept you, but you gotta spell Duke. And we're gonna give you the day Trust me, I'd spell it wrong, man. I'd spell it wrong. But to have grandkids at schools of that caliber makes me so proud. But that day that I was feeling miserable, and it was a tough day. Normally I would do the chemo, and the doctors would let me go home. Doctor came in, he said, Dick, we can't let you go home. Based on what's happened here today, we got to monitor all your blood work, monitor all. I said, oh, God. So my family had to leave. It was like 9 o'clock, and they all give you hugs, and they leave. And as they leave, I choked up thinking about it. I started crying like a baby. And the nurse heard me, and she came running in. What is the matter? I said, I don't know. I said, I'm very depressed. I don't know if that's the last time I see my family. And I swear to God, I had not used my phone for 6 hours. My phone was laying there. I didn't use it. And she gave me a little pep talk. She hugged me. She gave me a pep talk. Come on, man, you're a fighter. Keep fighting. You're going to beat this. And it picked me up a little. So much so when I reached down for my phone. And when I reached down for my phone, I looked. Oh, my God. The messages I had from everyone, from the president of ESPN, Jimmy Pitaro, former President George Bodenheimer, right down the line, John Calipari, Jay Wright, John Shire. He's a rising superstar in coaching, not good, superstar. But I had all these messages, and it just picked me up. What a lift it gave me. So a message to you is, if you know someone battling cancer, you know someone that's really struggling physically, send them a message, send them a prayer. It means so much. And I tell all cancer patients that may be here, or people that know cancer patient, think positive and have faith. And if you do that every day, you could win that battle. Because I'm going to win that battle. LaFonso, I will tell you now, my friend, I'm going to be the first guy in broadcasting ever to sit at courtside and call a game when I'm 100 years old. I'm going to say, don't laugh at me, but it's going to happen. You saw my picture with black eyes and all. I was all through about 7 surgeries after melanoma. When I had melanoma, we beat it. Just a little. And funny part about that too, I'm in to get my annual checkup, and the dermatologist says, "You're in great shape, man. Look good." As I'm walking out of the office, he says, "Come back here a minute. It's that little mark on your nose." He said, "I know it's nothing, but let me just scrape it off." Well, I did. I even thought that he sent it out for an evaluation. 3 days later, my phone rings. "Dick, we got a curveball, a real curveball. Bottom line is, it came back, it's melanoma, and we got to get that out. Surgery right away." And they did. And then I had about 7 surgeries to get me out of that look. So when I looked in the mirror after the first surgery, I said, it looked like Sonny Liston, Muhammad Ali, Mayweather beat the hell out of me, man. And I just didn't believe it. But it finally beat that. And then 7 months later, out of the blue, regular physical, go in feeling good. Get a call 3 days later, you got lymphoma. And it means 6 months of chemo. Oh my God, hated that chemo. But you know what? The chemo did its job, got rid of the cancer. But it's affecting, you see how I struggle to walk up here, my legs. It's beating me up physically, but you know what? It's not gonna beat me up mentally. It's not gonna stop me from having that energy, that drive, that desire. I call it the 4 Ds of life, man. You have desire, dedication, the permanent discipline, and that incredible determination. You're gonna make it in the biggest game of all, the game of life. I've always believed in those things. I believe in having pride and passion in anything you do. You have pride and passion, you got a chance to survive. You got a chance to make it in whatever you do. I love people with passion. I love people with feeling and expressing that feeling of being jubilant. Nobody in this room, all the great players that were talked about, Juju, I pray that she gets back again and be the kind of player that we all know she could be from that injury to her knee. I see Michaela here tonight. I met Michaela's brother, Jaden Blakes. He's at Stanford. Bottom line is, he played at Duke. In fact, Chris was part of him and helped recruit him. He graduated Duke, and then he went for his 5th year to Stanford. I got a chance to sit in the lobby with him before I was doing a Duke game with Stanford this year. What a kid. I told the mom and dad were here today, you have done one hell of a job. And met the girl today, Michaela, and I could see, man, they had a grand slam. And she's in a good program playing with Shea Ralph, who was a terrific player in Connecticut. I don't know how she beat out Gino Auriemma for her, but the bottom line is, she was a big-time winner, and that's certainly going to help Michaela. But I have loved my stay here. When Malcolm Moran, who's a terrific journalist, unbelievable, these journalists who did things the right way, great integrity, look for positives in people instead of all the negatives. And bottom line is, when he called me up, and I didn't hesitate, and my wife says, you know what she's saying? Are you ready to go out there? I said, I think so. It's the worst thing that happened to me, probably of all the cancers. After I beat the lymphoma, 8 months later, I came down with the one that really hurt me the most, cancer of my vocal cords. I went 1 8-month stretch where I could not say a word. I write everything on paper, and man, that is frustrating. I remember being in a hospital, you want to tell the nurse something, and when you write, you can only write a sentence or two, and you can't get out how you really feel. I felt so trapped. The one that benefited, I told the legend today, was my wife. She finally got a chance to say some words without me talking. But I tried joking about it, but it's not a fun game, my friends. I'll close with this. I've been at ESPN now 45 years, and I heard Chris talk about Cooper, and I'll tell you this. When I saw him play in high school, I was just blown away. I went up to watch him in high school. I said during a Duke game, I think it might have been the game with Stanford, I said in that game, and by the way, doing games, I told the doctor, I said, man, that's the greatest medicine in the world for me. I walked in my first game I did this year, Clemson, and the love I got from all the both teams, the fans, Duke and Clemson, was unreal. And then it was a dramatic game, which Chris doesn't want to hear about, but Clemson in the last second won that game. I believe it was overtime. But that was special to be at courtside and to do a game. But I think of this. I think of this all the time. To go on and to just be positive and to think positive. And when Malcolm called me up, he said, you've been the winner of the Dean Smith Award. I said, are you serious? Dean Smith, I love Dean Smith. Dean Smith, I called him, I nicknamed him Michelangelo of coaching. He was like a genius at the end of games. In fact, my buddy Jimmy V got mad at me one day. I did a North Carolina State game with Carolina, and North Carolina State's winning, dominating the game. And at the end, I'm going, don't leave. Don't you believe, you people? Dean Smith is a genius, man. He comes away with these unbelievable situations, comebacks that are unique and special. Well, he lost the game that day. My phone rings about, oh my God, 5:30 in the morning from going to the airport. I pick up the phone. Man, you're supposed to be a Paisan friend of mine. I can't believe it. All I heard is all night long. All I said, Dean Smith's a genius. What about me, man? What about me? I said, I love you, Jimmy. I said, relax, you won the damn game. He didn't. But Jimmy was special. And his legacy will go on and on with the dollars that have been raised. I'm so proud to be a member of the board of directors. I can tell you right now, we're over $300 million raised for every kind of cancer for research. Mine is specifically dedicated to pediatrics. So if any of you ever want to join my team and make a donation, just go to dickvitale.com. It's my website. You'll see right there, donate V Foundation, and every dollar goes for kids battling cancer. One never knows, man. One never knows. And we have my gala. We'll bring up my all-courageous team. 12 kids battling that disease. And we are so excited this year. On May 2nd, we're already sold out. We sell out 1,000 people, Ritz-Carlton Resort. And we're honoring this year Grant Hill, former superstar, Duke. We're honoring Dan Hurley, who won 2 national titles, Connecticut. We're honoring Michael Strahan, whose daughter, Southern Cal girl, had brain cancer. Has another daughter that's at Duke. So Michael will be there as well. And it's going to be a special, special night because we are definitely, I'm telling you, that's in the bank. If I have to write the damn check out, we are going to absolutely go over $100 million since starting. So I want to simply say thank you. Thank you so much, Malcolm, for calling me up about Coach Smith. Coach Smith was as special as it gets. He represented all the qualities that I believe in. My wife and I are married now 53 years, and my God, so special to have a beautiful woman by your side, supporting you all your life, and I've been blessed with that. But I'm going to tell you, Dean, his wife was special, and Dean was special. My only quick Dean mid-story I'll tell you, he calls me up when I'm coaching the University of Detroit, and I'm in awe. Oh my God. That's Secretary says, Coach Smith on the phone. Coach Smith want to talk to me? I said, yeah. I said, wow. So I get on the phone. Dick, Dean Smith, North Carolina. Hey, how am I letting us play you guys? I said, really? I'd love it. In fact, he said, we'll come to Detroit. I said, you're going to come to Detroit? Wow, it was a home game. He had a great team there with Phil Ford, Mitch Kupchak, Walter Davis, and we were pretty good, but we weren't in their class. But anyway, I can't believe it. Then at the end, he says, well, yeah, we'll come there, but you got to come twice to North Carolina. I said, 2 times to North Carolina, 1. I said, you know what? Let's do it. Because I knew I was leaving to go to the pros. Let the next coach worry about it. But LaFonso and Chris will know what I'm talking about, and so was certainly Ann. He had the 4 corners, just a creative mind. So when he goes to the 4 corners, spread the court out, he's leading, and you can't guard him because he puts the ball in the hands of, they had a magician at the point guard, Phil Ford. And Phil Ford was magic. When they took the lead, I was by about 8, with about 2 minutes, and I saw the court go to 4 quarters. I take the damn panky out and wave at it, because give me a break, man, it's over. It's done, there's no doubt about it. But really, I want to thank you again, Aaron. Thank you so much for bringing me here. And Malcolm, thanks so much for allowing me to be here, because really, as much as I was a little down at the time you called, I wanted to be here so badly. And I'm glad that it all worked out. And I wish all of you the best, because this is one beautiful event. Chip, do a great job, and certainly I look at Jody opening her remarks today. It's very special, very unique. You're very blessed. It's a beautiful club, and it's run in a positive way. If I was on TV, I would simply say, are you kidding me? This club is awesome, baby, with a capital A.